Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results. Happy birthday goes to the Godfather, born on Monday, 1961. Farouk, aka Ron Simmons, and the Iron Sheik had birthdays on May 15th. Alberto Del Rio is said to be unhappy with WWE because he was promised a main event push when he came back. Triple H is rumored to be the guy keeping Del Rio from that top spot. He apparently isn't a fan and told his father-in-law the Mexican star's ego would be a problem if he was around the title scene. More Del Rio drama. The former WWE champ had a fling with Charlotte before he started seeing Paige. Proof of him seeing Paige, who was caught kissing Paige, which has led to heat between the two women backstage. Because he likes using real tension and angles, Vince McMahon has reportedly told writers to pitch him other angles to restart a Charlotte versus Paige feud, or after the women's champ finishes with Natalya. So there's a possible spoiler for that. And I'll show you the picture of Alberto Del Rio kissing Paige. Regarding another possible women's title contender, Dave Meltzer says that Sasha Banks is being kept off of TV for storyline reasons. Earlier on Monday, WWE passed along word that Emma has suffered an injury at a house show live event back on May 8th in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, teaming with Lana opposite Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. At first, the report only indicated that she was undergoing testing to see how hurt she may be. In an update posted a short time ago, it's been revealed that she will need back surgery and will be out indefinitely because of it. I'll give you more updates as the report says that she has ruptured a disc and will require her to have surgery. Explained to WWE ringside Dr. Chris Robinson. She came to us in a great deal of pain, which seemed to be increasing. She was then given an MRI, which revealed that further action would need to be taken. Unfortunately, the superstar's estimated recovery time cannot be determined until after her procedure is complete. The timing of this couldn't be worse, as she was involved in a program with Becky Lynch that was getting TV time and leading to a match on a pay-per-view. It also leaves Dana Brooke on her own just 1 week before she was called up to the main roster. After she was called up to the main roster. Well, Monday night, while Raw was still on the air, Emma tweeted her reaction to the injury at Emma WWE. I'm pretty gutted about my injury, and of course, the timing, but all the love and support going into the surgery Wednesday helps. Thanks, #Raw. As noted, John Cena will be returning to TV on the May 30th Memorial Day episode of Raw. Cena revealed that he's only like 70% in the gym, and also on NBC Universal upfronts events that he will be hosting NBC's Today Show the morning before returning to Raw. WWE Cruiserweight Classic participant Zack Sabre Jr. suffered an injury this week, and I'll show you some pics of the injury as he's got a big, some repairedness on his knee. He's got a couple, I'd say a few stitches on his knee, as he has been pulled from the May 20th Pro Wrestling Guerrilla event, where he was scheduled to defend the PWG title against Michael Elgin. Sabre told fans on Twitter that he will be back in action soon. And he tweets 4 times. Stitches weren't quite a souvenir I was hoping for Germany. At Zack Sabre Jr., 'tis but a scratch. All absolutely gutted to miss my first at official PWG title defense this Friday. Sincere apologies to everyone. I'll be back as soon as possible. And his last tweet, incredibly disappointed to miss at PWX Wrestling on Saturday. Was really excited to debut in North Carolina. we will reschedule as soon as possible. More updates on Emma's injury. I think I may have put it in here twice. She suffered a ruptured disc in her back at last Sunday's live event at Rio Rancho, Mexico, and she will undergo surgery on Wednesday. The match on May 8th saw Emma and Lana lose to Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Comments from Dana Brooke, Becky, and Sasha on Twitter at Becky Lynch WWE says, "Heal fast at WWE at Emma WWE because we're only getting started." At Dana Brooke WWE, Dana Brooke WWE retweeted WWE, "Don't you worry at Emma WWE. You taught me well, and I promise. Hashtag playtime is over. You tell me who, and hashtag the end will, what's that? The end, the E-N-D will happen. Hashtag WWE." At Sasha Banks WWE, wishing you a speedy recovery at Emma WWE. We need women like you up here. The Rock is currently preparing to start filming Fast and Furious 8. As seen on his Instagram page at The Rock, Instagram.com, The Rock. In a few of the photos, Rock noted that the WWE studios wants him to raise the bar with his Hobbs character this time around. Next level, working extremely hard to come into Fast and Furious 8 and do what studios ask of me. Raise the bar. This will be my 4th rodeo with the franchise. That's a lot of screen time. And the character of Luke Hobbs must grow and evolve. Otherwise, it's a waste of time, and I don't waste my time. Hobbs is coming in hot, and he ain't effing around. Hashtag FF8, hashtag Hobbs, hashtag stepping on set, hashtag 1 week away, hashtag raise the bar, hashtag a no wasted time. Again, go to the link, Instagram.com/The Rock. Cody Rhodes, a.k.a. Stardust, his multi-accounted Twitter, at Prince CGR, "If I pretended I was blind, struck it from my mind, would I still be there?" Well, Stardust, WWE, what if I do anything to make it seem alright? It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. And he has some music little things posted on his Twitter tweets. And his wife, Real Eden WWE, Brandy Rhodes, retweeted what he said and even commented herself. Things are going to be alright again. Natalya recently spoke with Brian Fitz of Sporting News to promote this coming Sunday's WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view. And she commented on from Sporting News. Sporting News asked her, "Let's talk about Raw for Monday night. It was yourself and Charlotte in the final segment of the show, the main event segment. Tell me what the day was like earlier, and how and when did you find out that the two of you were going to be in that slot?" Natalya says, it was shocking to find out. I got to the arena and we were told that you guys are on last. We were like, oh my God. No, not only are we main eventing Raw, but we're closing Raw. It was surreal. And it's still surreal. It was on my drive last night from Greensboro to Greenville. And I was just processing it, taking it all in and going, wow, I can't believe it. I did that. Just being able to hold up the women's championship and to think about wrestling for 15 years, and after going through the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, being in that ring with Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Ric Flair, and Charlotte Flair, you have the McMahons, the Harts, and the Flairs, and it doesn't get any bigger than that. In wrestling, when you think about wrestling, hierarchy, and royalty, our families have done so much over the years for this. I hear certain, not a lot of girls, But some people are like, well, I'm sorry I wasn't born into this, but I was born into this, and I'm not sorry about it. To me, it wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy ride to be born into a big, crazy world of wrestling. Monday night, holding up that championship on Raw and closing Raw, it's a huge moment for myself. It was a huge moment for Charlotte. It was a huge moment for women in the WWE moving our division forward. It just shows that WWE is embracing their women with all their efforts. That's Sporting News. I asked her how difficult it was last year. There was the Divas Revolution. We were seeing some of the women move from NXT to WWE, but we weren't seeing much of you. There was a lot of people that had your back and wondering where you were in that process. Well, Natalie comments back, last year, 2015, was by far the hardest of my life. I was going through a lot personally. I had to take care of all that. But I really wanted to be a part of the Divas Revolution because I had waited my whole career for something like that. I had waited my whole career to wrestle with girls like Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch and Charlotte. I wanted to be a part of that more than anything. Looking back on it now, I'm almost kind of glad that maybe it didn't work out that way, because sometimes better things are. Maybe if I had a part of that, I wouldn't be main eventing Raw on Monday night. It brought me to a level of clarity going through that hard time. I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines and having to handle the things that I was going through, and then having to rise up and rise above all of it. Coming back from a broken ankle, that's why I was so devastated when I broke my ankle, because I didn't want to be hurt. I finally got back into the mix, and I finally re-debuted after being out the whole summer. And when I got hurt, then I realized, looking back on it now, all those things happened for a reason. Some of them I don't know the reason for, but everything that happened to me last year made me stronger. And it's going to help me come Sunday at Extreme Rules when I tap Charlotte Flair out. I will beat her at Extreme Rules, and I hope that she's going to be prepared as I am. Sporting News asked her another question. We see how much NXT has done for Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks, and so many other performers. You were someone who had already been on the main roster, and then you spent some time in NXT again. What did NXT do for you and your career, especially at that time? Natalie says, my husband and I, TJ Wilson, Tyson Kidd, we love NXT, and we love performing in NXT. It really was and is our favorite show. It just helped us find ourselves again, because sometimes when you're in the hustle and bustle of this fast-paced world we're in with the WWE, it's a moving machine, and everything is moving so fast. For TJ, he connected with Dusty Rhodes in a way that people have no idea. TJ never had a dad. He never knew his father, and Dusty kind of became his dad to TJ. TJ would drive 2 hours there and 2 hours back to do a 1 minute promo with Dusty. That's the thing about NXT. You have those resources, and Dusty was one of those resources. Obviously, we all miss him today. NXT has changed people's lives that love this business, because it helps them rediscover themselves and really shine. To be unafraid and color outside the lines, that was the same thing for me. Triple H believed in me. He gave me the opportunity with Charlotte. He didn't really give me any boundaries, because he believed in me and gave me this urge of confidence that, as a woman, is priceless feeling when someone believes in you. There's so many resources down there in NXT. Sarah Del Rey, that's somebody I worked with in Japan, and now she's working with the women, and she loves wrestling. I collaborate with her still to this day on ideas for matches. I go down there and train, and she helps me. I always want to get better. I actually heard Sasha Banks say that in helping her and other people find that in themselves too. NXT just embodies that in every way. Well, this following link, Quality TV, recently sat down with Luke Harper for a short little interview, as you see in the video. Comments about how to rehab an ACL injury. series that recently profiled Davey Richards from the Wolves and TNA. In the highlights of the interview, Harper confirmed that he suffered an injury during Raw's dark match before WrestleMania 32 and was almost immediately told it was an ACL injury. Harper thought that his leg was broken at first. Tyson confirmed that he dislocated his patella and tore his MPFL ligament. Harper believed it was a freak occurrence and says he may have been predisposed to a patella injury, that his knees were off and not properly diagnosed. Harper also tore his other patella in 2011. He thought he was facing a catastrophe in the first few hours of the injury, assuming life was over as he knew it. Working with Dr. Dugas and Champion Sports turned his attitude around to think he could come back bigger, better, and stronger. And better pro wrestler and well-rounded athlete. Harper also mentioned that he's had time to work on things at home, spent some time with his family and his 4-year-old kid. He called the injury a blessing in disguise, but said he's itching to get back in the ring and is looking at being back by August at the earliest, October at the latest. In regards to criticism over he and the Wyatt family members using Twitter, he says it's 2016 and he doesn't know why he wouldn't have an account or why people would have a problem with his postings. Harper says in 2016, everyone is using Twitter as a vehicle to get their name and brand out there, including him. He talks about how close Luke Harper is to John Huber, his real name. His ultimate career goal is to be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and he plans on doing that. Harper is looking at using this injury to get to the title. His ultimate life goal is to make his son and wife happy, to give them a good life. Harper says it's all slowly coming together, and then introduces his son, Brody. To end the segment. The interview, WWE has released another NXT announcer. Real name, Alex Del Barrio. Earlier on Monday, Del Barrio was hired in October 2015. He worked for NXT and appeared as a host at live events and working with talents and promos in the Performance Center. He was a lifelong wrestling fan who worked at getting into the company as an announcer since way back in 2004 when he was in college. Del Barrio previously announced for Booker T's reality wrestling promotion in Texas, along with the Harlem Globetrotters basketball fame. The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, posted the following statement on their Facebook confirming their injuries and that they are both out of the Best of Super Junior tournament. Sorry, NJPW fans, we unfortunately will not be competing this year's Best of Super Junior tournament in Japan. As previously announced, both of us suffered injuries while competing in Toronto last week. Matt, suffered a hand injury, and Nick suffered a rib injury in the same match. Luckily, the injuries are fairly minor, and we should be both back to competing in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Thank you for your continued support. We have the greatest fans in the world. We'll see you soon. In the meantime, check out our sweet merchandise at ProWrestlingTees.com/YoungBucks and YoungBucks.net. Thanks. Love the Bucks. WWE Superstars. Spoilers. Titus O'Neil and Jack Swagger versus Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. O'Neil and Swagger won with the Clash of Titans. Stardust versus Zack Ryder. Ryder picked up the win after hitting a top rope hurricanrana into the Rough Rider. Stardust controlled most of the match. Raw starts off with the usual intro. Live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as Michael Coleslaw welcomes us. He's joined in by Byron Sexton and JBL. They hyped the Usos versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson for tonight. We go to the ring. Out comes AJ Styles for a pop. Well, I caught Raw myself into his ending little segment. But get a look back at Styles and the World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns from last week. Fan chant his name, but Styles takes the mic. He wants to set the record straight because he's tired of Reigns calling him a liar. But it's not just Reigns. He's heard it at the restaurants, the airports, and on social media. He says, people think his friendship with Gallows and Anderson is some kind of master plan to get him the title. AJ shows them some tweets on big screen with fans commenting on the club. Can't call it Bullet Club because they're using the Bullet Club name in New Japan still. This Styles asks if this is a new era because this isn't new to him. He's headlined the Tokyo Dome. He's been a champion all around the world. For those in WWE Universe who don't know him, he's not called phenomenal for nothing, and he's worked hard to get there where he is. AJ is then interrupted by Roman Reigns' music, and as he comes out to a mixed reaction, not just boos. Reigns is met with a what treatment, Stone Cold style, and he starts speaking. Reigns says what Styles has done around the world doesn't really matter unless he's winning the championship. Fan chant for Seth Rollins. Reigns says that they're not going to get Rollins. They have Reigns versus Styles in the main event of Extreme Rules. Reigns says he's going to be in the Usos corner for their match tonight, and asks if Styles will be in the club's corner. AJ says he will be there, and he will be wherever Reigns is until he gets the title shot, gets the title around his waist. Styles mocks Reigns. Good guy, bad guy, the guy. Promo, and Reigns is the guy he's going to beat on Sunday. Reigns says Styles is in the biggest fight now. This is not a wrestling match. This is not Extreme Rules. Reigns talks about what he might do to Styles on Sunday. Reigns says he can and will be beating AJ's ass on Extreme Rules. Reigns says AJ can't beat him one-on-one, so he knows the club will be there. But the Usos will also be waiting for them. Reigns says we will all find out that the bloodline is better than the club. AJ says he plans on wrapping a chair around Reigns' stinking head all night long. Music hits and out comes Gallows and Anderson. Usos join Reigns in the ring. AJ charges and Reigns drops him with the right hand. Fans boo. AJ retreats to Gallows and Anderson, holding him back on the floor. Up the rampway, Reigns raises his title as AJ runs his mouth. The two teams stare each other down, have words as Reigns' music hits, and we go to replays. So to come segment, Dean Ambrose will call out Chris Jericho, also an Extreme Rules contract signing with Natalya and Charlotte, plus Cesaro versus Sami Zayn. Which, that match was up next. Sami Zayn versus Cesaro. Red carpet rolls out as we get the WWE Intercontinental Champion Miz makes his way down with Maurice. Lillian Garcia introduces them. They join the announcers on commentary as we go to commercial. Back for the break, Kevin Owens is also on commentary. Sami Zayn makes his way out first, followed by Cesaro. They lock up, and Owens and Miz argue on commentary. Cesaro with an early power slam for a 2 count. Sami ends up sending Cesaro to the floor and going for a dive, but backing off as Cesaro goes to sit on the barrier and shows off. Fans do the Olay chants as Owens has no interest in this match and gets up to leave commentary. He attacks Miz instead, throwing him onto the apron. Owens goes to leave with the title, but Miz stops him. They brawl at ringside, and Cesaro and Sami watch. Also, referees are watching. Owens rolls Miz into the ring. Cesaro and Miz brawl while Owens and Sami go at it. The referee calls for the bell as Sami and Cesaro clear the ring. Shane McMahon's music hit, and now he comes to the stage for a big pop. Shane says everyone has had it with the 4 of them. He gets a cheap pop from Greensboro and makes a tag match for tonight. Stephanie McMahon's music hits, and out she comes to join Shane on the stage. Stephanie says that was really good, but she wants to up one on Shane to consider what happened on SmackDown. She mixes up the teams, suggesting it will be Owens and Sami versus Cesaro and Miz. Shane agrees, and so do the fans. Stephanie says that if Owens even thinks about walking out on Sami, don't bother showing up on Sunday. Shane says the match starts now. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus The Miz and Cesaro. Owens isn't happy about tagging with Sami as they go to commercial. Back for the break, Cesaro is in the ring with Owens. Owens needs to tag and yells at Sami, then tags him in with a slap. Cesaro and Sami go at it now. Miz tags himself in and hits a suplex on Sami for a 2 count. Fan chant, "You can't wrestle at Miz." Another tag and words between Sami and Owens. Sami comes in and goes at it with Miz. We come back from a break and Miz is in control of Sami. Cesaro tags himself in and tells Sami to watch and learn. Owens and Miz go at it with Owens hitting a missile drop kick. Owens with a big clothesline and then in a corner and then the cannonball. Owens gets a 2 count. Owens runs into an elbow. Cesaro tags himself in and nails Owens with uppercuts. Tries to do the uppercut train across the corners. Cesaro warms up the uppercut train again. Sami comes in and Cesaro unloads. Cesaro doesn't see Miz tag himself in. Cesaro goes for the swing on Sami and the Miz throws Cesaro out of the ring. Miz goes for the Cesaro swing on Sami. Cesaro comes in and hits a skull-crushing finale on Miz. His old move. Cesaro gets taken out and Sami hits a hell of a kick on Miz for the win. After the match, Sami celebrated until Owens dropped him with a kick to the face. Owens declared himself the winner and heads to the back talking trash. Renee Young backstage with Chris Jericho asking what he thinks Dean Ambrose will have to say. Jericho is still upset about his jacket and says Ambrose will probably be apologizing. Jericho says he should have Ambrose arrested in this dump tonight because he's not. He's going to give him one chance to apologize, and if he doesn't, Ambrose will be very, very sorry. He tells Renee to hit the bricks, toots, and slams the dressing room door. So comes segment, The Shining Stars. Primo and Epico's new tag team name. Back to commercial, Shining Stars versus Scott Jackson and Brian Kennedy. So I go to the dirt sheet because their names wasn't even announced on Raw TV. Back for the break. Enhancement wrestlers, I'm guessing. Local jobbers. Leave it at that. Back for the break. Out comes Primo. All they were doing is taking major bumps. That was about it. Out come Primo and Epico for their debut. They speak up on the way to the ring. 2 local jobbers wait. The ring is their paradise, as they say. Tonight they would like to reward everyone by sharing a little piece of their Puerto Rico paradise. Primo starts for his team and Epico quickly hits Jackson with a clothesline from the apron. Epico hits the German suplexes and a brainbuster. Epico takes out Kennedy. Primo tags back in with more offense. Epico comes in and they hit their double team finisher. The Shining Star for the win. After the match, Primo and Epico invited everyone to come to Puerto Rico. We see Shane McMahon backstage talking to Dean Ambrose. Back to commercial. Back for the break, and out comes Dean Ambrose. Ambrose quickly calls Chris Jericho to the ring. Jericho comes to the stage and wants an apology for Ambrose destroying his $15,000 jacket. Jericho brags about being a millionaire, but says $15,000 is a lot of money, and he wants it back. Jericho says Ambrose destroyed a piece of WWE history. Jericho demands an apology right now and tells the fans to quiet down. Ambrose challenges Jericho to a match at Extreme Rules, and he accepts. Jericho talks about how he's beaten everyone put in front of him, about how he's the best in the world at what he does. Jericho says he's not scared of Ambrose. He's scared for him. Jericho is going to show Ambrose what a lunatic does and looks like at Extreme Rules. Jericho says he will have no remorse on Sunday when he gives Ambrose the gift of Jericho. Ambrose says he has a gift too. A steel cage starts lowering over the ring, and Jericho looks on. He's actually surprised. And this is what it's called. Ambrose Asylum. And he steals his own catchphrase. We see the various weapons hanging on top of the cage. And even a mop is on there. It's kind of like the six sides of steel, but it's just a steel cage with weapons on top. As Ambrose's music plays, a promo on how bad the match is going to be for Jericho, Ambrose says Jericho will never be the same again. His own words. So the comes segment, the Usos versus Gallows and Anderson. We see Dana Brooke walking backstage. She's off to diss a random guy before heading to the ring for her match with Becky Lynch. After all, she is a hot woman. Blonde. Stacked. I'll leave it at that. Becky Lynch versus Dana Brooke. Back from the break, and Becky Lynch is in the ring as we see Emma and Dana Brooke attacking her last week. Dana's music hits and out she comes by herself. Cole announces Emma's back injury. They lock up, go to the corner. Fan chant for Becky. Dana gets knocked down with a forearm. After missing a clothesline, Becky mocks Dana and nails a pair of arm drags and a drop kick. Dana goes to the floor for a breather. Dana threatens to walk out, but Becky jumps off the apron. Dana sidesteps and sends Becky into the barrier. She brings her back in the ring and mounts Becky with a right hand. Dana with a 2 count and then a submission as fans chant for Sasha Banks. Becky gets out and fights back. Dana catches her with a big slam. Dana mounts Becky again and works her over for another 2 count. Dana runs into an elbow but blocks a roll up. Becky with a pair of clotheslines and a knee to the face. Becky gets a pop and nails a big forearm in the corner. Becky with a exploder for a 2 count. Becky goes back to the top, but Dana cuts her off. Becky counters Dana's finisher, and Dana counters a roll-up with a pin of her own for the win. After the match, Becky is frustrated, and Dana backs up the ramp, talking trash. We get a look back at Chicago's Screwjob from Payback. Still to come, Natalya and Charlotte will have a contract signing for Extreme Rules. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and we get the latest video of Darren Young and Bob Backlund that aired on SmackDown. Shane and Stephanie were backstage. She wonders why Shane didn't tell her about the Asylum match and says they should get on the same page. Someone knocks, and in comes the Dudley Boys. They all shake hands. I fell asleep during that because the segment was boring. Well, she wonders why Shane didn't tell her about. Okay, I'll read. Stephanie asks how they can help the Dudleys. Bubba Ray says they're here to help. He's here to remind them a few guys from the Attitude Era can still go up in the new era. Devon says maybe they can get a few local North Carolina boys and teach them a lesson tonight. Stephanie says that they won't be any little guys. Shane teases Big Cass and says they will have to choose which one goes against them. Coleslaw leads us to a video package on R-Truth, Goldust, Fandango, and Tyler Breeze after the turns on SmackDown. Goldust and R-Truth versus Fandango and Tyler Breeze. We go to the ring. Out comes Goldust first. R-Truth joins him, and they head to the ring together while Truth raps. Back to commercial. Back from the break. Tyler is already out with Fandango. Truth immediately attacks Breeze, unloads on him. Goldust gets a tag and unloads in the corner too. Truth backs in, but Fandango helps Breeze to turn it around. Fandango tags in and goes at it with R-Truth. They collide and both go down in the middle ring. The end comes when Fandango gets sent to the floor. Breeze ducks Truth, and Truth accidentally takes Goldust out, allowing Breeze to get the pinfall. After the match, Fandango and Breeze leave together as we go to replays. Truth and Goldust have words as Truth tries to explain what happened. So to come segment again, the Extreme Rules Women's Title contract for your main event. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Truth is backstage begging Goldust. Goldust says he told Truth he didn't want to team up. Truth says those pretty boys got one over on them, but they have to work out the kinks and try again. Truth says the WWE Universe wants Golden Truth. Truth wants the Golden Truth. Truth knows Goldust wants it deep down. Briggs and Fandango walk up, calling them idiots, and welcoming them to the new era. They walk off laughing. Goldust agrees with Truth and they hug, finally on the same page. We see something large and covered in the ring. Coleslaw has no idea what it is. And WWE Tag Team Champions, The New Day, are out next. Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods cut promos on the Vaudevillains, who they will face on Sunday at Extreme Rules. Woods reveals a time machine that's being hidden. They jump on it and go back in time. Kofi jumps out with an old accent and theme music. They time travel again. They go back to a time where everything is black and white, apparently. This leads to Simon Gotch and Aiden English attacking them. They destroy the New Day and the time machine structure. Fans boo as Gotch and English leave the New Day lane. Still to come segment, Gallows and Anderson versus the Usos. Back to commercial. Usos versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson were up next. Back for the ring, out comes AJ Styles with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Usos were out next. Of course, Roman Reigns was out with them, making his way out to a loud mixed reaction. The two sides face off in the middle of the ring before the bell. Anderson starts off with Jimmy Uso, and Anderson takes it to the mat. Jimmy catches Anderson and takes him to the corner. Jimmy tags in. Jay tags in for a bit of a double team. The Usos take out Anderson to the floor for more offense. Uso with a big chop in Flair country as AJ looks on. Uso blocks the counter and sends Anderson over the top. Uso then knocks Gallows off the apron to the other side. Uso stand tall as Styles talks to Gallows and Anderson on the floor to regroup. Gallows comes in with Jimmy. Gallows misses the clothesline and gets rocked. Gallows catches Uso with a big slam and then another. Gallows drops the elbow drops and covers for a 2 count. Gallows beats Uso into the corner and tags in Anderson. Anderson stops away. Gallows gets in a cheap shot as the referee is distracted. Anderson keeps control and tags Gallows back in. Lots more back and forth. Usos end up hitting corkscrew off the top, but Gallows kicks out. They go to the floor and Uso takes Gallows down off the steel steps. Uso rolls Gallows back in as AJ approaches. AJ and Uso argue, allowing Gallows to drop Uso with the right hand. Reigns walks over and has words with AJ and the club as we go to commercial. Back for the break, Jimmy goes at it with Anderson. Anderson with a big close slam for a 2 count. Gallows comes back in, unloads with the right hands in the rights and left in the corner. Jimmy dugs a big boot and Gallows gets hung up. Anderson tags in, but Uso dumps him over the top. Uso turns it around on the floor and sends Anderson into the barrier. He brings him back in for a crossbody for a 2 count. And we see Styles and Reigns argue at ringside. Uso hits a Samoan drop and the Rikishi splash on Uso for a 2 count. Uso goes back to the top, but Anderson jumps up and kicks him in the face. Anderson with shots in the corner. He goes for the superplex, but Uso sends him back to the mat. Uso jumps but rolls through. Anderson with a big spine buster for a 2 count. Everything unfolds at the end. The pin comes when the Usos hit a big splash for the win. After the match, AJ and Reigns have a stare down in the ring. Gallows attacks Reigns from behind. Uso makes a save but gets taken out on the floor. AJ brings a chair back in the ring where Reigns is. He goes to swing, but Reigns nails a big right hand as the fans boo. Reigns hits AJ with the chair. Gallows nails Reigns. Reigns hits a Superman punch on Gallows and then Anderson. Reigns turns around to a chair shot to the gut from Styles. AJ with a chair shot over the back of Reigns now. Styles hits the Styles Clash on the top of the chair and receives some boos as he stands over Roman. Styles music hits as Reigns tries to recover as he looks on. AJ talks trash to Reigns before leaving the ring. We go to commercial. Back for the break, Stephanie is already in the ring with Shane. The Hype Extreme rules as Stephanie goes to introduce Charlotte, but Ric Flair's music interrupts, and out he comes. He wants to show respect and property and introduce the apple of his eye in Flair country. He introduces Charlotte, and out he comes. Out comes the WWE Women's Champion. They hit the ring, and Charlotte is ready to sign, but Shane says, "We're missing someone," and he brings out Natalya. Natalya ends up calling Ric Flair creepy. She wants to face the Charlotte she wrestled in NXT, but she's no longer exists. Shane says Natalya signed the contract first. Charlotte says fans aren't here to cheer her because they're her people. Charlotte gets some boos. She says she could punch all of their best friends in the face and they would still cheer for her because they worship the ground she walks on. Lots of woos in the crowd tonight again for her. Charlotte says she's their living goddess. I caught this segment as Raw was about to close. And I'm hearing boos from the crowd, not woos. She gets mad at the boos and says you do not boo a Flair. She tells us to show respect to the two legends in the ring. She says that the people love her because her last name is Flair. Flair goes to woo, and Charlotte tells him to stop because this is her ring. She goes back to ripping on Natalya, saying she's going to make her tap at Extreme Rules. Shane says Charlotte sign next. Charlotte stops and isn't happy about the small print in the contract. She shows it to Ric, and he gets riled up. Shane says the added stipulation that if Flair even walks down to the ring on Sunday, Charlotte will immediately forfeit the title without even wrestling. Shane calls for the security to come escort Ric out. Stephanie says it's not personal, it's just business. But if Charlotte doesn't sign the contract, she will forfeit the title tonight. Charlotte signs, eventually. Flair starts yelling at Stephanie, saying that he tried to like her because of who her husband is. Flair calls Stephanie the worst businesswoman of all lifetime. Shane steps in and stands up for his sister. Flair threatens Shane and takes his coat off. Charlotte tells him to get it together. Shane says he has too much respect for Flair, telling him to calm down, and they're nose to nose. Stephanie says she doesn't respect Flair and slaps him down into the corner. Fans boo her for doing that. Security comes down to pull Ric out of the ring and take him to the back. Charlotte moves towards Stephanie, but Natalya tackles her and applies a sharpshooter. And Charlotte's tapping out in the middle of the ring while Flair is being taken away by security. Fan chant, "You tapped out," as Natalya's music plays and the hold is finally broken. Charlotte rolls out of the ring to join Flair. By the way, she forgot the title in the middle of the ring, which Natalya picks it up and raises it in midair to end Raw. As Natalya looks on with the title being raised, and Charlotte just stares off on the ramp. Well, that's it for my Raw results. Thanks again. Peace out. See what I want to be. By the way, if you don't know, just comment, brothers and sisters.